Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Brave Cat here once again with another Frontier Signals update. So I'm just going to run through everything here, and there's not really a whole lot going on. So I also have some various clips over here on X, watching a lot of the fireballs and other various things falling from the sky, just to get a glimpse and, see if we can get any other ideas and see it for ourselves. So anyways, with that, starting out here with the space weather, looks like we did have some sort of long duration flare, just barely peeking up into the M range. And other than that, the solar wind has actually been going down. So it doesn't look like, even as of, 4:30-ish, haven't seen the coronal hole stream hit us yet. So I think it's supposed to be hitting us tonight. Just based off of the NOAA aurora forecast down here. So it looks like the auroras are supposed to be kind of flaring up a little bit, and I presume that's because of the coronal hole stream. Otherwise, I don't know what else it would be. So this is what we're looking at right now. Well, at least in this clip here. This is what things are looking like right now, with another coronal hole actually forming. So this will be facing us here in a couple days. And that long duration flare, it looks like it came from that lower left region. So that was the one on here that I said was pretty likely to flare, because if you just look at it, it has some pretty decent magnetic complexity to it. And while that was going off, it looks like there was a couple just minor pops from these other spots. So it happens right as the camera kind of goes black for a second. You can see down here, that's where you've got a plasma filament of some sort just kind of rippling out slowly. And you can see a couple other pops happening elsewhere. Not really too major, and I don't think there's any sort of CME attached to it whatsoever. The Enlil prediction is looking totally quiet, and just again looking at the sunspots themselves. So just like I figured, there is another sunspot region, although this one looks pretty small, just now cresting over the edge. And, I'm not sure if there's anything else coming after that. Take a look at this here. We can see that active region coming out, which looks to be this region right here. And after that, well, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything supposed to be popping out, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that. And in terms of volcanoes, the only thing I noticed really on here was that one over in Kamchatka has a 38,000 foot high blast now, so slowly escalating over there. But these volcanoes that are located over here, they seem to be pretty volatile, and there's all this earthquake activity that's been going on there, so not really too surprising. And it's a kind of best case scenario kind of area for volcanic activity. Not really too populated, still fairly far away from the States or anything else. Japan, if there is any actual super major eruptions going on over here, then places like Japan or obviously Russia itself might be in a little bit of danger. But anyways, we haven't really had much else going on besides just a few more deep events here and some of these regular 5s going across. There was a 3.1 here, so it looks like it's right inside the border. Inside here, what? Kansas. Yep. So we got a 3.1 there, a little bit uncommon, but not really anything too major there. We do have, following those deeper events in here, we do have a handful of upper range 4s and even a couple of 5s striking here actually, so that might be something to look out for. I don't know if it's close to a volcano, but I might as well check it out. Alright, so it doesn't look like there is actually any volcanoes around here, which is kind of surprising, but this is where that cluster is going on here. And, it's just kind of right on the plate here. You can see even on this map overlay, there's, this whole kind of trench in the water here. So not really too unusual, just a place seeking the least resistance for the seismic activity. Over in Europe, things have been pretty quiet. I mean, we still have lots of 2s and 3s over in this region by the Aegean Sea and Greece and all these other places. And over here, I did notice there was some somewhat deep activity, but again, really not much. And, you know, so that's why I've got some extra stuff to go through here, because everything is looking pretty much in the clear for now. But with this many sunspots facing us all at once, you know, that could change on a dime. Although it doesn't really look like any of these are capable of producing anything major. Maybe this region down here could produce an X-flare, but I'm not an expert. I don't really know. That's just, you know, my take on that. So anyways, let's get into some of these comets and fireballs and who knows what else, really. So this first one here is really the most controversial one, but it does have another, there is another angle of this. So I'm just going to kind of make sure it's somewhat zoomed in here without having to full screen these and have the audio ruin everything. So this fireball type thing was seen changing its trajectory, basically doing a full U-turn and then turning into some sort of weird orb. This is the only one that I've seen where I'm like, what the heck is this? And so it does kind of look sketchy, like it obviously could be fake. So, you know, I can't really say anything too definitive about that, but like I said, there does appear to be a different angle showing this exact same object. So then we have this one in Florida. Now we kind of roll that back here, and again, the music ruins it. But, you know, this looks more like some sort of, you know, satellite or orbital re-entry of some sort. So you have, you know, this thing up here split into a million pieces, kind of slowly descending. You know, that to me, that looks like a satellite coming down or something like that. Doesn't really look like a meteor or obviously a UFO or anything. So that looks fairly normal. We have another fireball here over Pennsylvania and Ohio. I mean, that one looks pretty legit. It looks like a regular meteor / fireball. And the term fireball really is just describing a meteor that's brighter than usual, either because it's a bit bigger or because its chemical composition just burns brighter based on what it's made out of. And we got another one down here in Portugal. Okay, this is from last year. But I mean, this one looks pretty normal too. We have this one over in Japan. This was February. Again, looks like a typical meteor. This was one of the more slightly strange ones, but you know, this just looks like a rocket launch. I'm pretty sure that's probably what it is. Seen the same thing in Florida as well. Let's see, we got this here in Missouri. Again, looks like pretty typical meteor or fireball here. Just rewind that. So this one here, some actual meteorite fragments found in Russia. And I suppose this is footage of that. And then this one over in Michigan. So this one's coming down pretty quick. Again, looks like a pretty typical comet or meteor falling. Let's see, bright meteor fireball. Okay, this one is moving a lot slower. So, I mean, you can see just how slow it's going. But, so it might not be a meteor, but it could just be something coming in from orbit, from reentry. Now, I'm not totally opposed to the idea of UAPs or UFOs or anything weird like that. I have an open mind to that stuff, but I also have to remain very kind of discerning and like really skeptical still about stuff like that. So, you know, my mind is open. However, it seems most of these sightings are fairly normal, if, you know, maybe a little bit above average. But there does seem to be quite a few sightings overall. A lot of these green fireballs as well, which is interesting. Just a different chemical composition. That one is also traveling down pretty quickly here. It looks pretty much like a normal meteor. This one, another one over in Japan. I don't know if that's the same one as the other one. I don't think it is though. So that one coming in pretty fast. Really high up in the atmosphere, burns out. So it looks fairly normal to me. But, in the comments down below, feel free to share what your thoughts are. There's a lot of like that's the battle we face, is the battle of information, and we have to try to hold a million different conflicting ideas in our head at the same time, trying to figure out what's true and what's false. So it's really, I would never take just one person's word for it. So let's see this one here. I think this is the same one in LA. Okay, yeah, it already has some context below here. SpaceX launch. Let's see, got another one here. I lined up quite a few of these. Okay, so this is in New Zealand. Another one of those kind of green fireballs that has what seems to be a lot of kind of volatile material coming off. So, still seems like a, regular meteor. And okay, this is the other perspective of the first one I showed you, where it just totally changes its trajectory. So the fact that there could be multiple angles of it, and you'll see it do the same thing. So it goes up a little bit, and then it does a straight U-turn, and then it turns into a dim orb. So we can even just maximize this. Luckily there's no stupid music over it. So it goes up, kind of splits into two tails a little bit, and then it goes down. So it does look different. It doesn't exactly look the same as the other one. You do kind of get the same particle effect coming off of it. The other one, the first clip that I showed, does look to be maybe slightly sped up or something. I don't know. This is the only one where I'm like, okay, what the heck is that? What is that? Why is it doing that? And what the heck? So let's see, there's another one here. There shouldn't be too many more. This one looks pretty bright here. Pretty much just one huge flash. And okay, here's another one from the Pennsylvania, Ohio kind of thing. I think I already showed that one. And here's another one. So this person's saying they're UAPs. And it has this weird kind of split tail to it. Again, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on here. I did see in the comments for some of these, or for the first one I saw, people were saying there was like a pyrotechnic show going on or something. So, I haven't gone in to verify those things, so again, just take it all with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's some of the clips floating around for the sightings happening. And it's not just in the US, it's all over the world. So, take with it what you will. But anyways, that will wrap things up for today's update. Hope you all enjoyed, got something out of it. Again, let me know what your thoughts are on those sightings down below. Definitely curious to see what other people think. But anyways, please like and subscribe for more. Share this video if you dare. And as always, I'll catch you all in the next.